Good morning. The City of Gary Department of Public Parks Board of Park Commissioners Board meeting for the date of Tuesday, February 11th, 2025 at 10 a.m. is now in session. Roll call.
Commissioner Cook,
Present.
Commissioner Harrell,
Present.
Commissioner Patterson,
Present.
President Gardner.
Present. We do have a quorum and will continue. Pursuant to Indiana Code 5-14-1.5D, the Board of Commissioners of the Gary Park Department hereby certifies that it discussed no subject in the executive session other than the subject matter specified in the public notice. Is there any disagreement to this certification? Then certification is complete. We'll now have our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would direct your attention to the minutes for the date of January 28th. Are there any questions?
I have none, Mr. Chair.
Then I'll entertain a motion that we would approve the minutes as presented.
Mr. Chair, I move for passage of the minutes.
Second.
Roll call?
Vice President Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes.
President Gardner.
Yes, motion is carried. I would now address your attention to the claims listing. There is no report. We'll move on to the ratification of payroll and expenditures. Are there any questions?
I have none, Mr. Chair.
None here.
Then I'll entertain a motion that we would approve the payroll as presented.
I move for passage, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Roll call?
Vice President Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes.
President Gardner.
Yes, motion is carried. That takes us to our legal contracts. There are none for today. Administrative reports. Aquatics.
Aquatics has no report.
Hudson Campbell.
And we ask that you stand over by the flag, please, for camera. Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, so for Hudson Campbell, we're just putting out a reminder, March 1st, we are going cashless. We will accept debit cards, checks, money orders, Google Tap, anything besides cash. So March 1st, this is another announcement we haven't posted, we are going cashless. So, that's all we have for Hudson Campbell.
Okay. Any questions from board members?
None here.
Thank you. Marquette Park.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have a brief report which the board has received.
Okay, Dolly, just before you do that, let me do this,
Go
all
ahead.
right? To board members and to the public, let me introduce Dolly Harris, who now is the new manager of Marquette Park.
There are a few things that I have on my report, and you can review that at a later date. Basically, I have done a walkthrough of the whole building and the grounds, and I continue to do that. And at a later date, we'll give you an update of my findings. We had an event on February the 8th with MCC, their annual prom, which they really had a really fantastic time and really enjoyed themselves. And I thank you for this opportunity to be the executive manager of Marquette Park, and I look forward to the future.
Okay.
Any questions, just before you leave, any questions from board members?
I have none. Just to
Thank
say
you.
welcome.
Thank you, Dolly.
Park maintenance.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Again, for us, it's not a big time of the year. We're doing our equipment maintenance, mostly with our smaller stuff, the weed whackers and chainsaws and things like that, so that we're ready to go. Yesterday, we assisted General Services at Hatcher Park. The last time we had been out there to clean up some dumping was at November 27th, to be exact. We got some pictures from the people that were in the partnership with the Nature Conservancy, and that it was unbelievable, the dumping that took place over the winter time. I mean, we had to have General Services come out with their payloaders and that because our Bobcat just was not big enough to remove all the trash. And I mean, it was 10 of their big trucks full of debris, and I mean, it was everything. It was houses, it was drywall, it was wood. I mean, it was as bad as, I haven't seen it that bad, let's just say that.
Wow.
All within a couple of months. So we got that picked up, but what we've done is put a couple blockades in the one area. The problem is we had some cement blocks that we had put out on the Hatcher side, the parking lot at Hatcher. They're now coming in through the church parking lot that's next to that pavilion at Hatcher and that. And so, you know, we're just gonna have to probably get some more cement blocks and put them on our property to stop that. But, you know, it's just a problem that, as everyone here knows, it continues. You know, it's like you can't stop them. They find another spot to go once you clean something up. Or, once you clean it up, then it's a clear ground for more dumping, you know. I mean, they had really filled it up. It was pretty bad.
Do we ever catch any of those people?
You know, the bad thing with, you know, we call up code enforcement to see if there's any type of mail or anything that's left, and, you know, they do what they can for that. But the problem with Hatcher, and we run into the same thing at Brunswick, and that is it's so far. You know, if you're on the road on 21st, going past Hatcher Park, you can't see back there. There's so, you know, it's totally blind. You can't see any garbage until you actually go in the back. And I know, with the work that the Nature Conservancy and that had done, people are starting to walk that trail and identify things and seeing what's going on back there and that. And that's when I got the picture, Mattia and I got the picture that it was just like, oh my God, the dumping was fantastic, you know, I mean, it was just really bad this time. So we got that cleaned up, and, you know, hopefully the barricades will stop some of them. You know, they're only as good as what they are. They find ways to go around them and new ways to come in, and, you know, the problem with that property is there's a lot of different areas to access it, so that we don't own, that the Parks Department doesn't own. So.
Well, Hatcher Park is literally unused, but we have had several inquiries about turning it into a garden, and a couple of requests related to what would it take to make it an adopt-a-park. And I think one of the things that would help to reduce the dumping is that it becomes a place that is used on a more regular basis. And it would be a great place for gardening, I believe, and vegetable garden or something of that kind, simply to increase the level of usage so that from a day-to-day basis, we have some idea of what's going on there. So I think we need to take a closer look at what it would take to adopt Hatcher Park or make it a center for the growth of vegetable gardens or something like that. by the community so that it is not both isolated and unused.
They also have that with the Nature Conservancy and the Autobahn out there. I think the plans are to use that as a trailhead for the bike path that is on top of the levee, and also for nature. I mean, they're replacing a lot of the non-native species out there with native plantings and that, so that with Brenda Scott Henry, the environmental group from the city here, Autobahn, there's 4 or 5 different groups that are involved in that, of redoing that, and like I said, possibly, the rumor had it that they were trying to make that the trailhead where people would bring their bikes out to and then start the trail there, and that's why they're doing all that lake, or that work along the Little Cal up to like Martin Luther King, and then beyond, through that whole, using that whole dike wall, the bike path and that, on the dike wall.
Okay. There's an area from the football goalpost north to the pavilion that is wide open and unused. I think we wouldn't interfere with that if somebody was interested. I got a question for you, Don. Where are we? We got roughly 6 weeks till the first day of spring. I think it's March 21st. Where are we with the repair of our major cutting equipment? Are we redoing our schedule for moving around to the parks to cut? And are we prepared to contract with the companies that we've used in the past to do some of the cutting?
Yeah, Mattia and I will get together on that, and you know, right now as the decisions are being made on which parks are actually gonna be contracted out and stuff like that, so, you know, until we have a little bit further knowledge on that.
My question is, who is making the decision on which parks are gonna be contracted out?
That I'm not positive on.
So that would be Don and I, and also we'll be going over to General Services, teaming up with Harlan Smith and his team, so we can work more collaboratively together this year and get more things completed.
Okay, my second question is, last year and years before, we contracted out at the conclusion of the season the repair of our own equipment. We're no longer doing that? I mean, who are we waiting on to get our equipment repaired?
Well, in working with General Services and that, they were talking about sending our equipment in, so we're just waiting to see, you know, what the time schedule is on that.
So we're no longer sending in our own equipment to be repaired?
Not at this time.
And to your knowledge, it has not been repaired?
No, not yet.
Okay. Any other questions from board members?
Just an observation, though. In looking back at last year, I think the parks were in better condition, better maintained. You and your team did an exceptional job. It really showed our community with all the improvements that you had done. So great job with that. It's a little disappointing to hear that maybe processes have changed, but we're hoping that the future will get through some of this and identify how we can continue the success we had last year. So.
Yes, and that is our goal, to make sure our parks are cut and have a finished look. So it's not that Don and his team will not be spearheading the Parks Department park cutting. We are just teaming up with another entity within the city to assist us with the job that they are already carrying out.
Okay, well, again, let me say this. I agree with Mr. Rell. Last year was one of the best years that we had. I mean, we asked you to be responsible for equipment maintenance, equipment repair, training of the people who use the machines, and helping us to come up with a plan on how we will mow. And you did all of that. and it worked really, really well. So I am concerned that there is now an extra step, and I no longer can say, Don or Madam Superintendent, where are we at with the repair, the replacement, the cutting schedule? Now I have to ask you, and you gotta go ask somebody else.
So, no, we will control our cutting schedule. So that would still be an in-house. The only thing we're doing is teaming up with General Services because we're getting new equipment for the park cutting, and the city wants to buy in bulk. So we're brainstorming together as a team where we'll have a better outcome at the end of the season. So we're not just turning over everything to General Services. We're teaming up with them. We're purchasing new equipment, and we are going to take the equipment that was broken down. We're having it assessed by a company, and if it works for us, we'll keep it. If not, we'll move on. But no, this is a team effort. So no, General Services will not be running the cutting nor the schedule. Don and his team will spearhead parks cutting as usual. So it says he did a great job. We want to continue that look within our parks.
Okay.
So I do entrust Don and his team to yet do so this year.
Well,
It makes all the difference in the world. And
Yeah.
That's encouraging, because as we move forward in the city, our parks is a blueprint
Exactly.
of the health of the city. So we want to make sure they're pristine,
Yes.
as many as possible. Plus, it's synergistic. That gives our community the thrust to keep their lawns up.
Exactly.
When they see that the city is taking care of their properties. So
I
we're
agree.
encouraged.
Yes.
Yeah, well, being a man of the cloth, I'm going to pray that this is the best park season that we've ever had.
Yes.
Yes.
And thank you, Don. Next.
Youth Services Bureau. Okay. And our director's report.
Okay, so good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And thank you all for those reports. However, I will be taking our budget for Jewel Parks to the council because we do not have a budget at this time for Jewel Parks. My first order of business is to get that budget approved, and then all the contractors that rendered services in 2024, those invoices will be paid first. We're also going to be doing a check and balance with our Jewel Parks. We need to know exactly what work is left over and how we can bring these parks to an end and get the renovation completed. So my team and I will be working closely with the contractor to do this. As well as we do have park pavilions that are available for rental now, which is Tolleson Park Pavilion, Roosevelt Park Pavilion, and Glen Ryan. Early spring, my team and I will be going out planting shrub and flowers at those park pavilions to make them more people-friendly. So I do say to our residents of Gary to please rent in the city of Gary. We have 3 lovely park pavilions that are available at low cost, of course, with our beautiful Marquette Park Pavilion. I cannot leave that one out. Give us a call for your event to plan it here in the city of Gary. Also, just a reminder, Hudson Campbell Parks Department as well as Marquette Pavilion will be going cashless. Starting March 1st, we ask that you rent the parks, but we are no longer accepting cash. For further information, you could give us a call and we'll explain to you the cost for each rental. And I guess, also I heard President bring up Adopt a Park. That is something that I'm working very closely with the administration as well as the Youth Service Bureau Director. I totally agree. The more events or the more tracks that we have at our pavilions, that's how we'll bring in revenue, but also we will stop all of the vandalism and the illegal dumping. So once again, remember to give us a call here at the Parks Department and rent some of our parks in the city of Gary. Thank you.
Any questions from board members? Okay. Under unfinished business, I would like for Mr. Pruitt to come forward.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There were, let me do it this way. Can you give us an update on where we are with the completion of Jewel Parks, or if there is any outstanding, what the outstanding work is that needs to be accomplished? For example, I drove by Roosevelt Park a couple of days ago, and there's still a couple of mounds of dirt and some fencing that, so kind of just bring us up to date on where we are in terms of project completions on some of these.
Yes, there are a couple mounds of dirt left there, some debris left there by the contractors, and I've asked that that be removed. It hasn't been so far. Now, they came and got, Myers Builders came and got his wood from the site, but the dirt is still there. People are pointing the fingers, nobody's claiming responsibility for it. It's not mine, it belongs to someone else. Well, we're just gonna hold everybody responsible, that's all we can do. As far as the rest of Roosevelt, the fence, I don't know how this happened in the last couple months. The fence on the northwest corner of the tennis courts has been partially knocked down. Have no idea how it happened. It wasn't done there while the contractor was working on filling the pool. That fence was still intact. But since Christmas, that fence has been knocked down, and how it got knocked down, I don't know. But I was out there 2 weeks ago with the contractor, and sorry, I thought I turned this thing off. And I showed him some things where he has not done it. His workmanship is not up to par, and he swore that he was going to correct that, and so far it has not been corrected to my satisfaction. We still have to wait on the weather to do the asphalt paving at Roosevelt. That will be done sometime between the 15th of April, according to when the asphalt plants open up and start to supply asphalt. But we know how that's gonna happen, but we do not know, because I haven't seen the documents from the roller skate company. We do not know, and I don't know if Ms. Williams has found the documents from the company or not.
No, I have not.
And I don't know if they got destroyed. I don't know what happened. They were all in the office. But we do need those documents to proceed.
Can you share their name and phone number with me?
I don't
So
know
you have
anything about them.
nothing?
No, I have
Oh.
nothing. It was never shared with me. I saw the documents, but as far as getting a copy of them, that was never shared with me.
Okay.
Anyway, so Roosevelt, that's where we are. At Howell Park,
Go back in my notes.
the second phase of Howell Park that we were gonna do out of the additional money provided by the Lake County commissioners.
I think that's in my
I
notes.
spoke with
Unless you talk to
Mr.
somebody additional.
Cal Allen, and he said that money is available. He didn't know if it was 117 or 127, but he knew it was over $100,000. But he said that money is available, and they were gonna proceed with reappropriating that money. Because the sanitary district was supposed to take over the pavement of the basketball court. That never happened. I think I've heard that the price came back much higher than they expected it to be. They were gonna use pervious asphalt rather than regular asphalt. And I don't know where we are with that. I don't know if Ms. Williams has heard anything from the sanitary district as far as what they're gonna do.
You could share all of this with me after the meeting, and then we can go over and contact the different entities to see
Okay.
what's going
Well,
on.
I just wanna answer his questions. Is
You don't know at this time?
Okay, I just don't
Okay.
know.
Okay, okay.
In the spring, we're gonna have to pour the concrete at the new shelter. We have an additional shelter built out there. That was not part of the original contract. So we have an additional shelter. As soon as the weather breaks, we're gonna pour the shelter pad and the sidewalks that connect the shelter with the playground, and the sidewalks that connect the shelter and the playground with the street. All of the other work at Howell Park is complete. The same thing with Glen Ryan, Holliston, all the work has been completed. Ironwood, we still have to do the asphalt paving at Ironwood, Brunswick, and Holliston. I'm sorry, I said Holliston is complete. The asphalt pavement has not been completed at Holliston. So everywhere, all the parks that we plan to repair, repair or replace asphalt, all of that work will be completed somewhere
In the spring.
during April.
Okay. Any other questions from board members?
Mr. Pruitt, you've heard Don talk about all of the illegal and illicit dumping. Is there anything you can recommend that you feel could curtail some of that?
No, sir, it's just, they're dumping, and it's construction debris for the most part. They're dumping it all over the city of Gary. And we've got to get a better handle on it from the building department and code enforcement. One of the things that can help is that everybody that pulls a permit, that they have to list their disposal company, and the city of Gary has to follow through on it, to call and say how many dumpsters this guy had, this job to do, how many dumpsters do we purchase?
So is that being done, or are you recommending
I
that?
don't know, but that's the only way you can.
Recommending.
No, it is currently.
The
when you-
flag.
When you fill out that permit,
Thank
you have to tell them where the dump site's going to be. It's on the form.
So,
But it's a problem all over the city of Gary. I was coming from Ridge Road north on Clark Road, and right beside the road, somebody has dumped more than one truckload of garbage, construction garbage, right by Lake Etta. So it's happening all over the city. I got ticketed, I was in the judge's court. I got ticketed, I have a rental house that I haven't had rented for several years, and it was a pile of construction debris in my backyard. I had no idea, because I never go in the alley. I always drive around the front to check the house.
so speaking of building permits, on our jewel parks, how are we receiving inspections for the work that's being
That's what
done?
we do. We had a problem with two of the contractors not wanting to pull permits. They thought, well, they said they thought because they were working for the city, they didn't have to pull permits. We assured them that all permits must be pulled.
Exactly.
Okay. And we've had follow-up inspections. Like when we get ready to pour concrete, we have pre-pour inspections. Okay, so that happened.
So electrical, plumbing, building, and
Yes.
so on, whatever work
Whatever
we are.
did, we had inspections on it.
Okay,
We called the building department, and they came out, they were prompt, they were very thorough in their inspections.
thank you.
Go right ahead.
One question, so with the inspections that were done, did they identify any issues, or were the things being done to your satisfaction, their satisfaction, for the most part?
The problems we've had are cosmetic. It's hard for a building department to say, this wall isn't painted nice enough. If the wall has paint on it, it's hard for an inspector to declare that wall not done properly. It's very difficult. Even though it's got roller marks in it, and that's not cosmetically the way you want it to look, the wall is painted. So that's the problem we've had with some of our contractors. Workmanship was just poor.
Couldn't that be included in the scope and sequence of the contract?
It wasn't included in those contracts. It will be included in future contracts. It's a standard of work. And the time limits, because they took way too long for the amount of work that they had to do. The work schedule was just going way out.
Exactly. So what I would like from yourself is if you could give itemized list of everything that is needed to complete each jewel park, whether it be outside or inside, so we can see as the board, but as well as our finance department, where we're looking at maybe completing the parks and then as well as financially what we would need to complete the parks.
Yes, ma'am, we can do that for all the parks except Brunswick. Because of the damage that was done during the break-in, we cannot, I can't tell you how many linear feet of copper piping we have to replace. Because it was ripped out through the walls, we don't know what was done. So we may be able to connect to what's left, and we may have to just repipe everything in the building.
Okay, so just the scope of work for Brunswick
I can give you
as
some,
well,
yes.
please. Okay.
Okay, finally, we have partnered with a baseball entity, appropriated funding, and sunk quite a bit of money into Roosevelt Park baseball. All of them be done, have been, the fields have been redone. We got underground sprinklers ready to go. It's supposed to work as our hub for baseball and softball sports this year. But I'm hearing that there are issues with the press box and concession stand.
And there are also issues with the electrical. Mr. Plow and I were out there a couple of weeks ago, and it's the first time I had been in the electrical rooms in the pavilion. There was no reason, because that was done under community development. I had no reason to go in there. How it passed the inspection is only, like, God only knows how it happened. Those rooms are, I don't wanna call them a fire hazard, but no electrical inspector would give a okay for that work to have been done like that. So I don't know what happened there, have no idea how it happened. But we are gonna have to go, you know, as a park department, we're gonna have to go in there and correct the electrical issues, because I believe Mr. Plow, when they turned the sprinklers on, it kicked out, is that? Kicked off the air conditioning. Yes, it kicked off the air conditioning, so.
Oh, okay, let me do this. What government entity was responsible for the work?
I believe community development, wasn't it?
Then Madam Superintendent, if you would start with community development
Of course.
and bring whoever their leadership is to the table concerning that. And then secondly, I would like a report on specifically the concession stand, press box, and related washrooms.
Okay.
That, and not just what needs to be done, but project, and I know it's a ballpark figure without receiving quotes, but project what it will cost in order to get those up and usable.
Now, are you gonna use the restrooms, or are we gonna use, as we do in other parks, are we gonna use porta potties?
Well, we may use porta potties, but I want to know.
No, okay.
Okay, even if we choose to, I mean, that's always an answer, but I still wanna know. I wanna know what it takes to make the concession stand usable, what it takes to make those washrooms usable, and the little press box upstairs where the announcer usually sits. I wanna know what it takes to get those up and running. All right. Thank you. Public comment? Who do we have people sign up?
Carol Smith.
Oh, okay, Carol, come right in.
By the flag, Miss Carol.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Miss Cheryl. Okay, first of all, the prom was fabulous.
Right.
Everybody had a great time. I didn't hear any complaints except one. But before we get to the complaints, the food was great. The service was wonderful. The sidewalks were salted, and it was a real snowy, icy night. So the staff did a great job. All the way around, the staff did a great job. However, things need to be repaired. The lights on the walkway going up to the pavilion, most of them are out or flickering. It's very dark. I understand there was a PO that was done last year, and it was never processed. So I hope you can look into that. And again, if you need help, come to Friends of Marquette Park. We can share the expense at least, if you're short, I mean, really. Compliance with the wetlands, acquisition, how are we coming with that? Are we making any progress? The land that needed to be replaced?
That's the one question I asked you about.
Right. So it is a work in progress. So the board has brought me up to speed on it. So we'll be contacting the proper people for their information.
Good, I just don't want that to slip by.
Right.
Paying bills in a timely manner is so important. If we want good contractors to keep coming back to our city, we can't wait 6, 10, 12, 2 years to pay a bill. It's not your job to pay the bill, but it's all of our jobs to get that process done in a timely manner. Everybody, because I don't know what keeps holding things up besides money. But we need to pay bills,
Yes.
especially ones that are past due.
Ms. Smith, that was
Agree.
discussed at length in the meeting prior to,
Oh, you did?
yes.
Good to hear.
The importance of that.
Good. And the last thing is the Indiana state mandate that we have cases on our life rings, on our safety stations along the beach, along the easements. We've offered to help reposition the posts because there's rules about where those posts need to be that the rings are hung on. We have safety stations, we have life rings. Friends of Marquette Park did all that, but the state has required that they're different than what we've done. So I think the cases have been purchased, I don't know, but, you know, that was a mandate that was supposed to be in place by July 1st, 2024, and there's no activity that I've seen.
I'm gonna ask that we take that up with Aquatics, and you can come up with a report at our next meeting.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, and good luck this year, and we're with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all the time left for today unless somebody came later.
Okay, those are all the ones who signed up. Let me ask this question because we don't want to be, we want our citizens engaged and involved. And so if you're here, and we ask that you keep your comments direct and short, for the most part, 2 to 3 minutes. But if you're here and you desire to speak, I would like for you to come forward, give your name, and then we'll go from there. Is there anyone? We have one individual.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm Mike Fessel. I'm new to the community. I moved here from Michigan about 5 years ago. I'm a tennis instructor. And with your facility you have here, there's lots of opportunity for the kids in this area. Back in Michigan, I was on the board of directors of Todd Martin Development Fund. It's a youth program that has started with tennis, and now they have their own building. They have after-school programs. They have trips the kids go on. They have education. Some of the kids I worked with at the beginning all got scholarships to colleges and have moved on and helped other kids move through their program. I'm more than willing to do this free, gratis. I don't want to be paid anything. I would love to talk to somebody about setting up a program and starting, and we can start with kids as young as 5 and 6 years old, all the way up through high school. And I'm available if anybody in the city would like to talk to me about our program back in Michigan, and I'd be very willing to help set it up here and help run it. And I don't want to be paid for anything. It's all free, gratis.
All right,
you.
well, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
And
you.
and let's do this. Our Hudson Campbell
Director.
manager is here. Raise your hand, so
Yeah.
Yes.
please speak with her. And Sister Milligan from Youth Services Bureau.
Yes.
Also speak with them. They're in the process as we speak for developing their summer program.
Yes.
And they may in fact still have a little space or an idea of something they could do over the short term.
Yeah.
So Ms. Milligan,
Christina.
and Christina, please speak with them.
Yeah, Christina and I have worked at the desk together. I've been doing lessons here.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
So we have a connection. And I gotta tell you, the staff at the desk is amazing. The gentlemen that work there, the ladies, every time I walk in, they're very appreciative of us coming in and using the facility. And there's a lot we can do. I've been director of some of the most prominent tennis clubs in Michigan. I've got over 38 state champions I worked with back in Michigan.
So,
And
yeah.
coached at Albion College, which is a small college. But there's so much we can do.
Okay,
And I'm more than willing to do any of it. And I do live in Crown Point, so I'm close.
Okay.
thank you.
We
Thank
look
you very
forward to
much.
working with you.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
thank you for coming.
Any closing remarks from board members? Madam Superintendent?
No.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion for dismissal.
So moved.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned.
Got anything we got to sign or no?